Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? Hi, guys. I hope you guys have had a fantastic day trading so far. So it is now April the 17th. It's about 6 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Manitoba, Canada. And we are going to talk about Bitcoin and its road to $35,000. Now, I know that I've talked about the road to $35,000 many times before, but I feel that right now is a very pivotal week for Bitcoin, especially. And it's very important for us to understand some of the economics behind it. Now, before we begin, I'd like to state that I'm just an average Joe user of Bitcoin, and all the information is my own opinion. And I don't have any type of professional training when it comes to blockchain technology, nor do I have any type of professional training when it comes to, or sorry, professional experience as an economist, right? Everything is my own opinion, and it's been formulated over my 3 years of being involved in the trading space. Now, I am mainly a trader. Keep that in mind always, right? And all the technical analysis has been self taught entirely by myself, but I'm one of those adopters. You can say early adopters, which we can still consider ourselves right now, of Bitcoin and the blockchain technology, especially. So I like to start off by defining what Bitcoin is, right? Or just generally speaking, what is cryptocurrency? Well, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, is a digital currency. It's a decentralized monetary system, right? And we also have to understand what the goal of Bitcoin is. And the main goal of Bitcoin needs to be understood from the perspective of how it was actually brought about and how it was made and why as well. Well, as we all remember, during the mass economic crisis in 2008, that was some pretty unsteady times in the world. So some guy, as we all know, Satoshi Nakamoto, he decided to invent this currency system that allowed the end user, people like us, to actually have more control over our currency and our money. That he believed in a non-deflationary currency system that actually gained a value over time because it has a finite set of resources that doesn't just keep printing. So when we think of Tether, I'm just kidding. When we actually think of fiat, it's controlled by a centralized system, our government, right? And we also have to think to ourselves, what is the value of actually $10? What is the value of 10 euros? What's the value of 10 American dollars? 100 pesos or whatever, okay? Or Australian dollars. Is it something that the government decides that it's the value of, or is it something that we as a collective group in a country, we decide the actual value of what $10 is? So when you think of something like a piece of paper, right, that's worth $10, just as an example here, um, it's only worth $10 because we collectively as a group decide together and we have a conventional system that agrees that it's worth $10, right? That's kind of how I see money, right? And another thing we have to factor in is that, of course, there's going to be inflation when it comes to money, right? And when it comes to inflation, more money is printed and we don't have any control over that whatsoever when it comes to the government printing X amount of dollars out there, right? So because it is not a finite resource, or our money actually becomes a lot less over time because of inflation. I think the traditional inflation is about like 2% a year or something like that, right? So the reason why, excuse me there, the reason why I personally got into cryptocurrency in general is because of money. That's the absolute truth. I decided to get into blockchain technology. Well, not really blockchain, but more so in the trading space because I saw it as a way that I could thrive by using my skills as a mathematician. Well, not really a mathematician anymore. I studied math for 3 years, but I guess that's the furthest thing I'd call myself, which is a mathematician. I would call myself a mechanical engineer because that's the background that I personally have. And because I have the background of a mechanical engineer, it's actually helped me thrive in this type of environment because I see it as a systematic workflow that allows me to incorporate some mathematical abilities of mine using probability that can help me consider probabilities of if and only if statements and what has a higher chance to succeed by also factor in risk management as well. So with as an engineer, What we like to look for, of course, is a reiteration process. We like to design things that are better through processes of reiteration and finding modes of failure, right? Engineers design things by figuring out why things can actually fail. And if we figure out why things can actually fail, then we can design it to become better, if that makes sense, right? It is only until we actually fail as an engineer or as designing a product or any product specialist or any product engineer, same thing as with trading as well. It's not until we actually lose a lot of money that's when we are actually going to be able to succeed and learn from our mistakes and failures, especially, right? So I believe that I've had the skills naturally, not naturally, but luckily as well, that I happen to be in a work environment. I've had jobs as I've worked for as a project manager in construction. I've worked as a HVAC engineer. I've worked as a chilled beam designer, etc. Just in very office type of settings. And what I personally believe is that cryptocurrency has the ability, guys, to change your life. Like, it's changed my life for the better. Now, I'm not saying I'm worth, 50 million or 100 million or anything like that at all. Far from it, guys. But what I certainly believe is that it allows cryptocurrency to empower us. It allows a lot of countries out there that don't have access to traditional means of currency and fiat or systems where they can actually work to make a decent wage, where they can actually trade, for example, or invest and make some sort of return on it as well. That's what really attracted me to Bitcoin. Okay. Now, we have to understand that some people are in it for, of course, the fundamental values of Bitcoin and what it can instill. Some people believe that it can usurp the traditional fiat currency, which means to take over, to take power of. And we have to understand that limited resources like gold, for example, it's a very finite set of resource. That's why it maintains its store value quite well over time, right? It's not something that deflates because, well, it's a finite resource. It's based on supply, and as the supply diminishes, um, and as the supply diminishes, the demand and the price will actually end up, getting a lot more expensive. So Bitcoin is capped at, I believe, 21 million Bitcoin, right? Is it 21? Yeah, I believe it's 21 million Bitcoin. So as time goes by, what we can actually expect from Bitcoin is, because it's divisible, as we know, over 8 Satoshis, or sorry, over 1 million Satoshis, right? Because it's divisible by that amount there, 1 million Satoshi is one Bitcoin, right? These fractions of a Bitcoin are only going to get more scarce over time, and the value of each Satoshi will go up dramatically as well, because the value of one Bitcoin will also drastically go up as well. So we also have to factor in other equations, such as some people will lose Bitcoin, some people will have it in their private wallets there, private keys that will just simply vanish into thin air because, well, they can't access it anymore. And once you lose these master keys, once these Bitcoin become less accessible over time, because it's such a finite resource, that we can only expect Bitcoin to actually get higher in value. So you guys have to really ask yourselves, are you an early adopter of Bitcoin because you're here in the space to make money from it, or do you believe in the fundamental values of it? Now, personally, myself, I'm kind of 90% profit, 10% fundamentals, because I certainly believe what they are actually doing. And I do believe that it has the potential to disrupt the traditional fiat monetary system that we have right now. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do follow quite a bit of politics and just news in general. And 2008, guys, it was a combination of so many factors that we're not going to really get into, right? But we can all equate it to basically the government screwing us over, and the highest powers in the world who have control over these centralized currency systems that we call fiat, normal money, right? They completely took advantage of it, whether it was just from these gigantic firms abusing their power to Bernie Madoff there, to what is it called, CDOs as well, right? Collateral debt obligations. There's many factors that contributed to the 2008 world economic crisis that happened. And out of the ashes, a phoenix rose, and that was cryptocurrency. And that's what we have now in this space. So you guys need to ask yourselves, okay? Do you believe in the future of Bitcoin? Do you believe that it will eventually have the power to disrupt everything with normal currency systems and fiat. I don't know about you guys, but I know for a fact that usually when you are scared of something, right? When you fear something, you try to regulate it. And we need to understand that right now, I firmly believe it is the year of regulation. Governments need to get involved in Bitcoin. They need to they need to control it in some way because despite it not being um, despite at the summit, right, when they mentioned that oh hold on, what it wasn't the summit. I can't remember what it was where they agreed that Bitcoin was not a global threat to the world economics, but we have to also understand that it is something that's still on the radar right now. And because it's actually on the radar, of course they have to monitor it in some way or another. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I firmly believe that Bitcoin is going to reach some astronomical highs this year, guys. This 2018 year, okay? Now, you guys need to stop feeling bad. I always see these people that are saying that, hey, I feel really bad. I should have got in on Bitcoin earlier this year. I wish I could have actually rode it to the $20,000 mark. But because you guys didn't get to ride it there, but at least it brought you into the game if you were actually new this year into the cryptocurrency space, right? Whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Ripple, whether it's Bitcoin that brought you into this space because of this monstrous run, whether you knew about it or not. But if it actually brought you into the game, please stop feeling bad about the cycle that you guys might have missed because we need to understand that be grateful first of all for it bringing you into the game and also understand that there are many different bull run cycles that will happen. So the people that are investing long term in Bitcoin right now, you guys really need to stop worrying about these tiny little swings that are going up and down by $100 or $200 or even $500. Okay, the smart money out there, they're actually buying on every single dip. Now, I don't talk about my investment positions whatsoever, but I assure you guys with 100% certainty right now that I am one of those people that will be investing a fairly significant amount of money into Bitcoin, and I don't talk about it for protection purposes, and I'm known as a day trader. That's how I would like to be seen as well. And I don't really want to talk about too much about my investment strategies, but I assure you guys that I'm one of those people that's buying on every single dip. Why? Because I am bullish long term. Ask yourselves if you're bullish long term. You need to decide right now, this particular moment, guys. You need to decide if you are bullish with Bitcoin long term or not. If you are not bullish on Bitcoin long term, you guys should honestly get out of here. Okay, it's not the space for you guys to actually be in. So please understand that we need to keep this positive mentality up of being very bullish overall long term. Now, aside from the fundamental factors that can easily explain, and I'm no economist, keep in mind once again, right? But a lot of famous economists out there and analysts definitely agree when I say, or when we say, that there's going to be some massive surges and widespread adoption in Bitcoin. And because there will be, you guys also need to remain very bullish and positive. Now, you need to ask yourselves as well, am I a day trader? Am I a swing trader? Am I actually an investor? What kind of person am I? Okay. How am I choosing to profit from this gain or from this game in cryptocurrency? Myself, I'm a day trader. I've got a very different investment strategy for holding long term, and I do not plan to look at Bitcoin. I just plan to buy on a lot of different dips, do very, very good risk management as well, make sure that I'm shedding my risk, make sure I'm managing my risk, make sure I'm dollar cost averaging. But more importantly, I need to factor in the fact that Bitcoin is a finite resource, okay? And because it's a finite resource, I want to have as many possible Bitcoins as I can possibly buy before we actually get into a massive bull run, okay? Because I assure you, when this demand actually goes up and we start our new cycle for the bull run, guess what's going to happen to the supply? It's actually going to very much so diminish, okay? And when the supply actually diminishes, then the demand ends up spiking. Well, you guys can also guess what happens. There's a lack of liquidity liquidity in the order books. And guys, prices for Bitcoin, if you're buying in any bigger amount, say over 7 figures, you guys are going to be in a world of pain because there's just simply won't be enough Bitcoin available for everybody to buy the quantities that they're looking to buy. So please understand that the future of Bitcoin, guys, it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere whatsoever. It is here to stay. It will disrupt normal currency and monetary systems out there. Okay, it will disrupt fiat. In fact, it might even usurp fiat one day. When you guys think of your Visa card, okay, when you guys think of whatever, like I've got a gift card here, for example. It's just like $100 Visa card. Okay, $100 Visa card. When you guys think of these Visa cards or your debit cards or whatever that you guys have, how is that digital currency any different than a Bitcoin or a Ripple or Ethereum? It's all backed up by some sort of digital system, right? It's not like something you can actually physically hold and touch other than through a card. Now, what I personally like about Bitcoin is that it's of course on a decentralized system, right? Whenever we have a centralized system that can control it, control a fiat, for example, or a monetary value of money, basically, we have to understand that they can manipulate it as well. Which I'm not really a big fan of. I've lost trust in the government after 2008, put it that way. Okay. Now I'm Canadian. It didn't really affect us as hard as it did other countries, like the United States, especially. But it's just the principle in general. What I like about a decentralized system is it has an unalterable ledger. Okay, it has an unalterable ledger where the people that own Bitcoin, right? They're the people that have access to the ledger, and they're empowered by the technology in general. It is something that is tamper proof. It is something that no one has a single control over. We're not going to get into the debate about miners, as at all, okay? But I'm just generally speaking that we do have control over our system. We can send it very easily to other people, right? But the most important thing to me is that it's not alterable. It's an inalterable ledger that has a public record. So you can also understand why these governments also fear it as well, right? Imagine having a public record of all the spending that the United States has actually done and where the money goes. There's a lot of secret money out there for a reason. So let's talk about it. So because of these reasons that I'm simply talking about right now, I firmly believe that yeah, we are going to get some into some astronomical highs. So I want to talk about right now from a technical analysis perspective of how we could actually simply guys get to 35K. And I've done it many times before, as you guys also know, okay? So let's talk about this over here. I'm trying to actually just do this properly over here, okay? Let's go to like an auto scale. Yeah, sure. So I'm going to see this right here as subwaves 1. Okay, subwaves 2, right? I see this as subwaves 3. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it into here. Subwaves 3, right? I see this as subwaves 4, and we see this as subwaves 5, just like that. So let's try to actually break this down to how you guys can see it. This is my primary wave 1. Primary wave 1 is a very big label. Primary wave 1. Okay, this is primary wave 2, where we had that big run all the way up to 1,000 something way back in 2013. That's when it started to hit mainstream media, and a lot of people actually started getting very interested in it. Okay, so that's primary wave 1 up here. This is primary wave 2, right? And we can even count all of these in here as well, which I'm honestly way too lazy to count, right? But just the way it is right now, I'm going to try to do the best that I can for you guys to take a look at it, okay? That's very difficult to actually see. So we see this in here as our subwaves 1, okay? Subwave 1. We see this in here as subwave 2. We see in here as subwave 3. So we see this as subwave 4. And we see this as subwave 5, okay? Right there, just like that. You guys see where I'm getting to? This is waves 1 going up. This is wave 2, okay? We always like to get these extended fifth waves for Bitcoin. It always loves to do its extended fifth waves over there. So there we go. This is now wave 5, just simply going up like that right there. So what we see very clearly is this is the primary wave 1 going up, right? And this is the primary wave 2. Subwaves 1, 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. Bitcoin loves to do its extended fifth waves, and that's how we ended up getting this massive run. So this right here is actually going to be primary wave 3 is what I call it right here. Now I'll explain to the people that are not familiar with Elliott wave theory, okay? Elliott wave theory goes something like this right here, where we end up getting 5 waves up like that. Okay, 5 beautiful waves going up like this. And then after we get our 5 waves, we get some sort of ABC correction. Now within each wave as well, we also get ABCs coming in here like that, right? This makes sense. And then within each subwave going up as well, we get 5 waves going up. Now this is an art, okay? A lot of people don't trade with Elliott wave, but I do. I When I first started trading, I said to myself, what is the hardest thing to learn? I'm definitely capable and intelligent enough, I believe, because of my background in academics, to actually pursue one of the more difficult styles of trading. So I said to myself, yep, I'm learning Elliott Wave for 2 reasons. One, because I want to succeed in a very difficult theory that's frowned upon in the community. And two, just so I can show off to you guys as well. And that's how this YouTube channel actually ended up getting very popular. I was one of the first Elliott Wave traders. Actually, I don't count Hydrogen doesn't really do an in-depth Elliott wave analysis like I do, but he's still a very good Elliott wave trader. He's been doing it for a long time as well. But personally myself, I do it in much more detail than other people, right? Way more detail than other people, as you guys know already. And because of the amount of detail that I add into my technical analysis, that's one of the reasons why my YouTube channel ended up getting very big, very, very fast, as you guys know. I think I've got like 100,000 or something followers on Twitter now, and about I think like 70,000 or something on YouTube. So that's basically how the theory of Elliott wave goes, right? I'm not going to count all of this in too much detail, but you can easily count 5 waves in here as well, many times over. In fact, this one might even be over here, but either way, that's subwave 1, that's subwaves 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now what every time it happens, right? Every time we get a wave up going like that, we always get some sort of retracement. And what we see is that 786 is actually a very popular retracement level. Not only is it popular, but it tends to fall slightly below the wave 1, right? Sorry, it falls slightly below the 78.6 Fibonacci region right over here. So if we actually take a look at this particular wave as well, let's go to a log scale now, just so it'll actually be a little bit easier to see, okay? If we actually go to the log scale, now if you guys don't know the difference between log and non-log scale, is that in a log scale, it actually ends up compressing some of the data just to make it look more visually more consistent, we'll put it that way. So if we're looking at it in a log scale, right, in areas where there's high activity there, it might actually compress it when you're looking at it on an overall view just to make it look a lot smoother. I don't know how to explain it that well, honestly. That's probably the best way that I know how to explain it. So if we actually take a look at our Fibonacci retracement, right, what we see very clearly so far, according to this entire wave right here, okay, if I actually take a look at it from this entire wave right there, okay, what we see, like realistically, the way that I see it is I see it retracing to this particular golden pocket zone, actually, which was kind of freaking fantastic. Some people will actually see it from retracing from this particular region, right? Where you see it retracing to there, which basically almost hit the 78.6 Fibonacci region right there. So if I were to clear all of this out right now, right, and I just go back to my normal scale, okay, take off my non-log scale over here, right, and I actually take a look at it from the breakout on a daily, okay, some people will actually look at it from this perspective as well, only where they're taking the Fibonacci from this particular wave only right over here, okay. That's how some people will actually take a look at it right here, right? Where they're saying, okay, this actually falls to the golden pocket region right there, which is also perfect in my opinion. And that's a great way to take a look at the analysis. Some people will also take a look at it from perhaps here, where they'll say, Okay, Fibonacci retrace right slightly below the 78.6 region. So there are many ways, in my personal opinion, to take a look at how Bitcoin has been acting thus far. But what we can easily agree on is that right now, guys, this is wave one, okay? That's waves two coming down. And I personally believe that wave three finally finished and that it has retraced to a very reasonable amount. Now, the way that we target, okay, the way that we target like okay, just to be very clear once again, right, we're seeing this as waves one, we're seeing this as waves two down here, three, and I see this as waves four that's finally completed, right? So the wave four kind of took a long time, and we ended up getting, to roughly, we can say the golden ratio kind of retracement down to these particular levels, right? So Elliott wave works in very mysterious ways. The wave three was so extended, guys. If we do look at it from the perspective of Fibonacci extensions, right? It was hyperly extended. It was extended by such a ridiculous amount that it's really hard for us to project the wave 5. But what we generally say for Elliott wave, okay, is that wave 3 is generally the strongest, okay? It generally has the most of a peak. And I would generally target somewhere between less than 100 to one extension. But of course, wave 5 can generally be as well hyperly extended. In fact, it can be so extended compared to wave 3. And as I mentioned before, that Bitcoin has a big reputation of having a massive extended fifth wave for uptrends. So if we actually factor all of that in right now, and we simply just take a Fibonacci extension of this particular wave, three only right there, well, we can easily see that even at a one-to-one level over here, guys, like we're still looking at about $25,000 at one-to-one. Now, if we take a look at Bitcoin and make note of how the fifth waves are always hyper extended like that, right, guys? It's so extended compared to a lot of other waves out there. It's massive the way that these guys love to extend right here. Okay, we have to respect that fact always that it just likes to do that on the fifth wave on the daily chart. Okay, now, statistically speaking, on a downtrend, it doesn't really happen often. But if I just simply even target a very reasonable level compared to wave three right here alone, right? If I take a look at the 161.8 extension roughly as well, taking this low into consideration, that low down over here, we're still looking at well over $35,000 range. So a lot of people are saying that, it's not really realistic, but just based on fib extensions, guys, how could it not be realistic, right? We've exceeded so many different expectations before, and it's, I think, within Bitcoin's right to say that it has highly exceeded people's expectations, and it's done exactly what we all didn't believe it could do. So I'm done, guys. I'm done not believing in Bitcoin. I'm at the point in my life right now where I'm just gonna go all in on not all in, but I'm going to be investing a very heavy amount in Bitcoin because it just makes sense for me to believe in it fundamentally and in it technically as well. That I don't really care too much about day trading Bitcoin anymore, as you guys have noticed, right? I'm in this for the long haul, and I am ready to turn, whatever amount of Bitcoin I can, whether it be going to $35,000 this year, whether it be going to $250,000 in 2020, or 2022. I'm ready to jump into Bitcoin almost full head on, almost all in, we can say, because I really do believe in the power of technical analysis and the way that it's going to shape the world and change the way monetary systems, the monetary value of traditional fiat currency is viewed. Now, where do you guys stand? Do you believe that it has the power to disrupt the world? Are you really worried about your $200 swings? If you guys have a few $1 million to invest, are you really worried about Bitcoin dipping few $100, $500, $600 when you're actually investing in this in the long term, right? So there's a lot of questions that you should be asking yourself as well. Now, personally, as a day trader, I look for heavy volatility over a 24-hour time frame. I look for liquidity. I look for lots of price movement up and down, which is what volatility is. 24-hour volume is one of the most important things to me as well. Now, that's what I focus on as a day trader. But don't get me wrong, guys. When it comes to Bitcoin, I will be buying on every dip because I've got the mindset, guys. And you got to ask yourselves as well, do you have the mindset to firmly believe that Bitcoin is going somewhere major this year? If you are not bullish on Bitcoin for medium term or even longer term, I really recommend that you guys take a step back outside of cryptocurrency because it might not be the space for you. You might actually end up losing a lot more money than, than you should be losing because it's not really cool, guys, to be down that much, in my personal opinion, over a few $100 swings, right? You got to make sure that you understand how to stay in the game. So I'm just doing a very basic analysis, guys, just to give you guys an idea of how, based on a one-to-one extension or even extended fifth wave, that we can get to well over 35K. Now, some people have even said that we're actually done the entire fifth wave already here, which I find that very hard to believe. But if you actually take your extensions of even like that, where all five waves are done already, well, a one-to-one extension is basically 25K right here. And if you go a 1618 extension from the entire wave as well, that's still 38K. So it's really difficult for me to believe, just based on fib extensions, combining in some factors of it being a finite resource and how it's a decentralized system and how it really is scaring the government in general to the point where it needs to be regulated because it's that big of an entity in our digital currency system right now. And worldwide, it's definitely being much more known. It's got a notorious reputation for a lot of things like, um, for laundering money, first of all, or underground and illegal activities. But other than that, guys, the pros heavily outweigh the cons, and that's why I am in this space because I firmly believe that it is going to go somewhere. Now, I've got the mindset of a winner already in terms of just believing and visualizing a win with Bitcoin, right? I can just imagine myself sitting here right now, guys, where I'm holding, whatever amount of Bitcoin I'm buying. We'll just say 50 Bitcoin or something like that. um, yeah, I might even end up buying 50 to 100 Bitcoin, like to be quite honest, right? I should probably shouldn't have said that, but I will be buying a substantial amount of Bitcoin, and I could just imagine it getting to $35,000 maybe in a few months from now. And I can also imagine it getting to, um, I'm just giggling, I'm grinning thinking about it, getting to $250,000 if I had like 50 Bitcoin, in about in 5 years from now, okay? Like, we're just gonna look back at one of these technical analysis videos of mine for the people that have truly believed in it with me, and all we're gonna do is just grin. And we're just gonna look back on one of these days together, and we're gonna say to ourselves, man, that was um that was a good ride when it was $8,000 for one Bitcoin, okay? So I hope you guys are going to stay with me for this journey. I hope that I can inspire some of you guys to actually, get in the game, to learn more about it as much as you can. Right now, because we're not really in a big bull run quite yet, I would highly recommend that you guys actually take the time and the effort to learn about technical analysis and to see where you can develop your skills and further improve it, right? Whenever you are not actually playing the game, if you're an athlete and you're not playing a game, make sure you guys are studying, make sure you're practicing, right? Because you need to be well prepared for what's upcoming soon. Now, if you guys are going to be one of the people that just follow technical analysis and you guys don't really are not capable of doing your own, imagine all the guys that can actually that are actually better players than you in the market, right? They're going to end up destroying you. So this is a very competitive game, and you guys need to make sure that you know how to stay in the game, and more importantly, you need to make sure that you understand that it's such a competitive game to the point where you have to be better than the guy to your left, you have to be better than the guy to your right, because you don't want to be that guy who's not as good as some other people out there, right? Please understand that this is a very competitive game and you need to step it up, okay? If you guys are here for the money and the glory and you want to be able to tell your grandkids or your grandkids about the story of how you succeeded with Bitcoin, please make sure you understand that this is more skill based than anything out there, okay? So you got to make sure that you are aggressive. You got to make sure you have a competitive nature. You got to make sure that you understand that this is the world's fiercest competition out there and that there's only one thing that can happen. You're either going to succeed or you're going to fail. Or sorry, one of two things that's going to happen. You're going to succeed heavily or you're actually going to fail. You don't want to be one of those guys that's going to fail, guys, because the next guy to your left or to your right was actually better than you as a trader or investor, okay? You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you hone your skills, practice every single day, learn about the game as much as possible because your future and your financial dependency could very well much so dependent on what you learn today. So while Bitcoin is at a very low price, in my opinion, of under $8,000, guys, 8,000 is low. Keep in mind that we were at 20 freaking thousand dollars. Okay, I want to remind you guys, I'm holding your guys' head right now, and I am reminding you that Bitcoin was actually at $20,000 at one time. Okay, shaking your guys' head right now. In a very loving and nurturing way and encouraging way. And I'm telling you guys that Bitcoin was at $20,000 before, and we are at $8,000. So please stop panicking so much and realize that, guys, this is not a sprint, okay? This is a marathon, all right? This is a marathon, and we are all going to get there together. But please make sure that you guys are practicing good investment strategies, practice understanding long-term goals, and get that mentality game. The mental game is important. You got to shapen up that mentality and think about the big picture as well. So despite me just being a day trader, as you guys see me, I hope you guys see that I've got the mentality to succeed very long term as well. And that, guys, I'm gonna be one of those guys that's gonna have a wicked story to tell, okay? I know I am. I feel it. I just feel it in myself, in my bones, that I'm gonna help you guys learn a lot of the skills, and that's what I've been trying to do for the past 6 months. And I sincerely hope, guys, that I have helped you in one way or another, okay? Because that's the ultimate goal. I have an amazing story to tell already about how I got started with this game and how cryptocurrency has literally changed my life with Ethereum. And now I just want to be able to pass on the knowledge of what I know. But in a few years from now, I want to even pass on a bigger story and a bigger legacy to the people that are watching my videos that will be new in a few years from now. So, anyways, I just want to inspire you guys a little bit and give you guys my 2 cents about how I firmly believe that Bitcoin will actually still get to some astronomical numbers and you guys really don't need to worry, okay? You really don't need to worry. Everything will be all right long term. Bitcoin is here to stay. There's not a single entity that will stop Bitcoin. Please understand, guys. I'm looking at you guys in the eye, and I'm telling you right now that this year, this 2018 year, we are going to have the biggest bull run in the history of mankind. And there's not a single government, there's not a single person, there's not a single entity that will be able to stop the biggest bull run in the history of mankind. And I sincerely, sincerely, sincerely hope that you guys will take part of this journey with me this year because I all want to see us succeed. So have yourselves a great day and thank you always for the love and the support. And one other thing, like I always say, guys, if you guys appreciate these videos that I make for you, I would also appreciate a tiny bit of support from you guys just by simply upvoting my video on Steemit. And if you guys absolutely want to let me know I'm doing a good job, you're welcome to donate to the cryptocurrency piggy bank. Now, a lot of people have said to me before, why do you look for donations if you've done fairly well in cryptocurrency? Trust me, guys, I'm not looking to get your money or to make a really large amount through donations from you guys. I'm looking for someone to just buy me a lunch or a coffee to let me know I'm doing a good job. Because the best reward in the world, honestly, is to be told that you're doing a good job. That's the only reason I say that at the end of my video. So if you guys ever do donate something, Please don't donate five, $600. Some people have before, which I'm truly grateful for, and it's mainly within their means because they have made some ridiculous amounts of money, probably from my calls. But if you guys ever do donate something to the cryptocurrency piggy bank, please keep it under $100. Just let me know I'm doing a good job to buy me a full day's worth of lunch or dinner or something like that. So have yourselves a great day, and I really do look forward to spending more time with you guys, and hopefully we can journey there together this 2018 year to the road over $20,000 where the all-time high was before, and especially to to $35,000. So I look forward to getting there with you guys, and we'll talk sometime soon. Bye now. Thank you.